Well, welcome to week 51 of 2018. Marty here with you at Warehouse and Operations as a Career. By now, y'all know how excited I get about this time of year. Not just with the holidays and the festive times with family, friends, and coworkers, but it's time to reflect on the year for me. In our professional lives or work lives, we get to reflect on what we want to do in the coming year. A lot of people make a bunch of New Year's resolutions. I think the reason many of them fail is we put very little planning into them. I myself try to keep it simple. I want to be a better person next year. I want to learn new things. I'd like to help others in one way or another, and I want to earn more money. Now, not that money is happiness by no means, but by earning more, I know that I'm advancing, moving forward, and doing more. WAOC is all about our careers and finding a position that makes us want to get up every day and get to our jobs. I don't even really call it a job. I've always wanted a position where I enjoyed every hour that I spent there. I was very fortunate and blessed that I found that with my third job. I did the restaurant scene for about a year. That definitely wasn't going to be for me. Then I went into retail, working at a shopping mall, dealing with people. Wasn't going to make it there at all. And then I moved into the back of the building, to the unloading docks. I loved the physical aspects of the job and really kind of the constant challenge. Well, that was about 38 years ago, and I can honestly say I felt like I haven't worked a day in my life. Today we have a few guests with us that are planning to achieve the same. We've talked a lot about planning and goals this quarter and how we honestly control our destinies. Well, maybe not our destinies, but definitely our own careers. Today we have a few individuals on the phone with us that's been working off of a plan. And they're with us today willing to share a few experiences and thoughts with us. Let's see where to start. I'll kick off with Brandon. Okay, Brandon leads a crew of about 17 at a distribution center in Pennsylvania. He's in charge of all the inbound freight. I guess you could say he's the president of the front and controls that first 35 foot of the docks. Brandon, thanks for calling in and visiting with us today, sir.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about how you landed in operations and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, as stated, I live in Western Pennsylvania. Operations was a complete change of career for me. I had spent the better part of the last 20 years as an over-the-road sales rep within the construction industry. And due to circumstances beyond my control and not really being happy with being away from home so much and missing out on a great part of my kids' lives, I decided I needed to make a change that would keep me within my family realm and allowed me to be home on a nightly basis and to be there for my kids through their teenage years because I had missed so much in the early years. So I reached out to a brother of mine, my brother-in-law. He works in the industry, asked him if they were looking for people at his location, and he told me where to put the application in. I interviewed, and it was a little bit of a culture shock for me at first because I had been an over-the-road salesman and had a cushy behind-the-desk job, wasn't very physical. And it didn't take long for me to realize that I've seen this more as a career opportunity than a job. All the years I had spent in sales, I learned that the word job actually stands for just over broke, J-O-B. And I wanted to better myself for not only myself, but for my family, and to be able to have a career that I could take pride in going to work every day about.
Fantastic. And I believe that you found that. I can't wait to hear more about your planning. And we have Tony on the line from Chicago. Thanks for calling in, my friend. Share a little of your work history with us.
Hi, yes, I'm Tony Body from Chicago. I've been in the warehouse business about 17 years now. I finally got a chance and my opportunity with this company to become a little bit more career-driven instead of just a job.
Very good, Tony, and we love hearing that career word here at WAOC. And I'd like to welcome Corey back on the show this week. Corey has shared a few of his advancements or promotions with us here at WAOC before. How you been doing, sir?
Good, Marty. Doing real good. I'm getting ready for a big move and looking forward to it. I've been out at the facility in Pennsylvania. I took a position on that we needed somebody. I stepped in, took on a position, and just learned as much as possible while doing it. And I'm looking forward to moving on.
Outstanding. Can't wait to hear a little bit more about your planning. And wrapping up today's guest list, we have Joselinne on the phone. Now, I've had the pleasure to work with Joselinne before. I guess I've known you for, about 5 years now. I actually offered her a recruiting position once, and she turned me down to go to work at a beauty supply place. How you been doing, ma'am?
I've been doing very well. Thank you for asking, Marty. At that point in time, I did turn down the position, but it was just because different positions get offered to you at different situations and times in your life, and choose to lead with some of them. Unfortunately, you feel like some of them are stronger than others, so you take that pathway. And I learned quickly that that wasn't the path that I needed to take. So then I did come back and speak to you about a different position, and I did start working with you. And I had the pleasure of, getting to grow and also learning from you, and also, learning different positions in the logistics center.
Outstanding. I can't wait to hear a little bit more about your planning this year. Okay, today's show is all about advancement, planning our career paths and those long-term careers. You've each kind of experienced a promotion or two this year. How did it come about? Was it something that you planned for or part of a much bigger goal? Let's start that question with you, Brandon.
I actually have promoted twice within the last year. The first one was not planned for. I think that we were so new in the facility, everybody was kind of being filled out. And I just kind of showed some leadership qualities that were recognized by the out-of-town crew that was with us and the supervisor on hand. And I was offered a floor lead position. And from there, it did inspire me to develop a plan. As I was on the floor, leading the crew, teaching them the ways that I knew that helped me get to where I was, I started to recognize some of the things that the account manager was doing. And I thought to myself, well, I definitely can see myself doing that. And as a long-term plan, or let me rephrase that, a short-term plan, not to sound too competitive here, I actually wanted this job. So I started to pick his brain a little bit. I started asking, hey, I'm doing the stuff on the floor, but when there's some downtime, is it okay if I sit out here with you and I learn a little bit more about what you do above and beyond what I do? And through a couple months of doing that, it grew my confidence within myself to be able to run the crew and run the whole facilities, or like you said earlier, be the president of the first 35 feet of the dot. It grew. And as it grew on me, the more hungry I became to get off the floor and be the person that could make some positive changes away from what he had done, taking what he had already done and expanding upon it to make it an even more positive, greater atmosphere. And then opportunity arose to where he had chose to go to a different career. And I think due to my due diligence and my planning and everything that I had learned and asked to be taught over that, let's say, 2-month period of time, it led to the confidence of the customer as well as my management team in not hesitating to give me the position.
Outstanding, Brandon. You hit on several things that WAOC is all about. Doing those jobs around us, noticing what everybody else is doing, investing some time in learning those positions. I think setting with your supervisor, I think that was an excellent choice, and look how it set you up. What about you, Tony? Is your present position a part of an overall plan, and what step of that plan are you on?
Well, actually, yes, it was my overall plan, Marty. I started as a lead as well, and then I evolved into me being the account manager. I seen that we could use some help in getting the warehouse together and getting on the attendance and everything. So I started helping my coworker in handling that. And then the opportunity came along and I kind of fell in my lap. And this is my first time leading a crew as many people as we have. It's a little challenging, but I'm up for the challenge and looking forward to continue to grow and learn and execute as I should.
Yeah, that frontline supervision, the first time that you step into it, it's quite a bit different than our hourly task, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Corey, I know you're about to take that next step towards a long-time goal of yours. Could you share how your planning came to be?
Yes, Marty. This is another one of them situations, kind of like the last one. A position kind of fell into my lap. We lost a clerk at the facility, and I stepped into the position because I know the system that we use. We use a couple of different electronic systems that I'm very familiar with. Now, a new position is hopefully opening up for me, and I know I'm going to be moving across the country to get there, and then hopefully from there on I can show what I learned and just grow and learn more and gain what I want. My ultimate plan is to become an account manager, so I'm hoping that with all that I've done and what I can show, that position will fall into my lap, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, now you've been planning to move to Texas for quite a while, and like you said, we've talked 3 or 4 times. It seems like every time we talk, you're doing a different position. So you're learning everything there is to learn that's around you, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I ran into a personal issue that held me back, but now everything's set in stone, and we're going to be leaving on the road. Everything's ready, packed. We're going to be on the road this Friday. So hopefully everything's ready for me when I get there.
Fantastic. And Joselinne, I've seen your paths change several times, and always with an upwards mobility. Has this been a well-planned out strategy or a road to a goal, or have you just kind of been fortunate? Care to share that goal with us, or have you even formulated the ending yet?
Honestly, I have not formulated the ending. I've been very fortunate to find my own career path and succeeding thus far. I've go into it with a very optimistic mindset. I want to learn more. I want to be more. So with every position that I have learned from and acquired, I'm just very grateful with it. The way that I think about things is just that I want to do more and be better. So I put myself in that position, and literally it's just, as they say, you speak your future into existence. If you want it, you do it, and that's how you move forward.
Exactly. And I'm picking up a recurring theme here. It seems like everyone continues to talk about, learning more, doing that next position that's beside them, and just get all that knowledge under the belt. I think planning, and as each of you have just described, it is so important in our career strategies. It's so easy to fall in that trap of taking a position for X number of dollars an hour. But I feel in doing that, we're just really kind of accepting a job. That's not really identifying a career for us. When I was on the receiving docks at that shopping mall, I was unloading trailers. I'd never been in a warehouse environment before, but I quickly figured out that all the other positions around me paid more. So I started watching them, learned what they were doing, and then went and asked the boss, how do I get to be a pallet runner? And then so on and so on. That was kind of my first step. Next, I wanted to be a receiver, then a forklift driver, etc. Tony, why is planning so important to us?
Yeah, I believe planning is very important. It shows that you are taking time to map out what you need to do and how to do it and get it completed. I plan out how I take care of scheduling and how many people I need for a shift and things like that. I've always been taught if you don't have a plan, you don't have anything to go for, nothing to reach for.
Tony, you bring up a very good point. Without a plan, we don't really know where we're going to land. And, we all have always been taught that we need a plan. I think we all recognize that we need a plan to get to where we're headed. But for some reason, you're absolutely right. We don't always make a plan. Very well put. So, Brandon, am I incorrect, or is planning what we should be doing to retire as we'd like?
Oh, I totally believe that a goal is not a goal unless there's a plan to support the goal in mind. One of the great things that I can take from all my years of being in sales was learning the difference between a dream and a goal. You know, we all dream for that super nice house and that sports car, and that's all well and good. But if you don't have a goal followed by a plan of action to achieve what you dream about, it's no more than just falling asleep and having a dream or gazing off into the open space and daydreaming. It is very important to me when I plan out our daily basis, just because based off of my crew's 17 guys, and there are days where, you know, business is a little bit slower, and I have to have all of their well-being at heart when I plan out a day as well. You know, if we're only looking at like 25,000 cases and I have 17 guys, I need to have a plan of action to know, okay, well, you know, that's not going to quite cut it. And I got a good crew in hand right now, and I need them to be profitable and happy as well in order for me to continue to advance myself and show my capabilities for my next promotion. So the planning aspect of an everyday basis is of utmost importance to me. I need to be able to do the scheduling. I need to make sure the crew can handle what we have on. And then not only just having a plan, I found over my years of different jobs and experiences throughout my life, it's never a bad idea to also have a backup plan, because unfortunately in this world, not everything always goes as it should.
Well, I can agree with that, and especially the backup plan. I always try to have 2 or 3 versions of myself going at any given time. Well, Joselinne, you're a little younger career-wise than us. What's planning mean to you?
Honestly, planning didn't mean a lot to me until recently. I didn't realize how much planning really meant to my life until I had to start doing the plans. So I starting to figure out exactly what I needed to achieve in my life and what I expected to achieve in my life. And that's whenever planning really started being a big focus at my point. I started planning exactly what needed to happen by a certain age point. And that's whenever I started advancing in my life, whenever I started making more things more clear and, you know, putting it in writing and just making it more of a focus point for myself.
It definitely does help when we have a path to follow, don't it? And plus, that kind of helps us push ourselves along. So, Corey, are we on the right track here? Or do you have any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us, sir? And by the way, what's your next step?
My next step is just, I've been planning for quite some time, like we said earlier, to get to Texas. My next step is we're going to be going to Texas, and I just want to throw in there for planning, too. When you're making a plan, you're achieving something. You're trying to achieve something. So set yourself up for some short-term goals in your plan. You know, show that you're getting somewhere in your plan, because I've been planning to come to Texas, like you said, Marty, for almost 6 months now, and it's just now happening. And like everyone said, have a plan B, a plan C, because a lot of monkey wrenches got thrown into my plan. Now that I have a plan B, I'm able to go. And I'm really happy with that. Don't ever let yourself get discouraged over it. Just keep chugging along and get to the next spot. Learn as much as you can and keep moving.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and you just kind of defined what a plan actually is. So, Tony, where are you headed from here? What's your next position in your plan?
Well, Marty, I plan to continue to grow and learn from you guys. I've learned a lot so far. Again, I've never managed as many people as I manage it now. I've been in the restaurant management. I've been in the warehouse management, but nothing at this magnitude. And I just plan on continue learning and growing with the company maybe. And one day maybe make it out to Texas as well.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Coming to Texas is definitely something I'd be planning for. And not to change the subject too much, but Joselinne, you see people every day. Do most of them have a plan, or are they just looking for a job? And I guess the second part of that would be, are you able to help them regarding goals or planning for the future? Do you try to help get them started, on a plan when you're trying to place them?
Well, to be honest, a lot of people they don't realize that they have a plan going on. It's just they feel uneasy about it. So in a sense, I do help them feel better, or at least I'd like to think I do, about being more secure about the plan. I try to help them out the best way that I can, letting them know that, if they feel secure about their position or their skill or whatever they're inquiring to continue, that they can pursue it if they, can have the opportunity, the skill level, or, the capability of doing it. So I do like to help them in that sense. Do many people have that plan? No, I feel like it takes a lot of I don't want to say soul searching, but it just takes a lot of security and capability of being able to secure your mindset of being able to further out that plan.
It does. I think, especially in my younger years, when I would start trying to do some planning, it was almost, I almost got scared because you start thinking about the responsibilities and the disciplines that come along with it. That can be scary. So, Brandon, what's the next piece of your puzzle? I know that you're heavily involved with your employees. Do you try to help them with their planning and their goals also?
Well, as far as myself, just as Tony had said earlier, this is my first job as an actual management over other employees. Being in sales, I was a manager, but I was only the manager of my own time and my own destiny. Because at the end of that day, I didn't have to worry about anybody else other than what I did. So this was a big adjustment for me. So I think also the importance of having a plan is to not rush the plan. The next step for me, I had an opportunity to go help out at another facility in Pennsylvania while the manager there was taking a week off for the birth of his first child. And I noticed while I was there that even though I was help running that facility, I was also still heavily involved with my own via phone calls from my floor managers, from my clerk, from a few of my freight handlers. And I kind of got the idea in my head that, I believe I can, in time, after learning enough about running one facility, run multiple facilities. So as far as myself, my long-term goal with the company is to continue to move forward, with the next step being a facilities manager and running multiple locations. As to the second part, it's very important to help your employees and your coworkers and to plan out for their future. I've had some trials and tribulations with this, mainly being that about 60% of my crew is very, very young. They're 19, 20, and 21. And I remember being 19, 20, and 21. And like you said, you start putting a plan in action, and then, there's a lot of responsibility that comes in hand. There's a lot of discipline. I'm not ready at that point. So I have found myself fine-tuning how I try to help each individual person, rather than just on a collective goal tell everybody, hey, here's the way to promote. I have started talking to more on an individual level and trying to find out what exactly their goals are. And then that way I can help them try to plan for their own goals. Because, at the end of the day, we don't all have the same goals. My goal is to continue to move up within the company, keep going up. And, who knows, maybe one day be, right below the owner. Only God can tell me how far I'll go, but that might not be the plan of said employee A. His plan might just be, I just want to be a floor manager. That might be his long-term goal for right now due to his age. And as he matures, he feels that, I want to move up some more. So I find taking it on an individual basis is going to be much more successful in my growth and their growth.
I'm very glad that you pointed that out, Brandon. All of our plans are going to be different. Your plan's going to be different than mine. I think we have to be individuals. We have to plan according to what our wants and our goals are. I know many people that, they have been placed in a forklift position or a receiving position, a frontline supervisor position, and they're more than pleased with it. They're the best that there is at it. And that's perfectly fine. They followed their plan. They've reached their goal, and that is their career. And that's something to be very proud of. Does anybody else have anything else that they would like to chime in? Any other topics or anything?
All right, Marty. Yeah, I do have one other thought. I really want to like elaborate on like the fact that no dream is really too big. Like if you do feel like you can, learn from somebody or start achieving a certain goal that you have, you can start pursuing that. Even if you don't feel like you're there yet, you can start learning from your peers and you can start figuring out everything that you have to get to that point. Like just start asking questions and start figuring it out and realizing what you need to start being, that person, or start learning from that person and being better and learning and getting to that path that you need to be on or want to be on to make that dream better.
Oh, I'm so glad that you threw that out there, Joselinne, because you're absolutely right. We haven't talked a lot about educating ourselves, self-education, looking around at all those other positions. You make a very good point there. Well, I want to thank each one of you for joining us here at WAOC today. We learned so much from all of our guests. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. Thanks for having me again on WAOC, and I'm available anytime. I just want to throw a challenge out to anyone to make a short plan and see if you can complete it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Marty. I like to come from every meeting that we have with you guys. Just shoot me an email. I'm there.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Marty, for having me, joining in on the wonderful conversation with everybody and listening to everyone's story. And first and foremost, I just want to let everybody know that, like I said, like no dream is ever too big. Just make sure that you find your resources and ask all the questions that's needed in order for you to make it happen or figure out how it's going to happen. Like I said, no dream is too big, and you're capable of doing everything. So continue to be better, dream bigger, and do better.
Yeah, thanks, Marty, for allowing me to join you guys. And thanks to Tony, Josie, and Corey, all valuable information. I know that I can take something from what all of you said and learn and better myself. And as a closing thought for me, I've learned a lot in the last few years due to personal changes to not fear failure, because failure is where we grow. So if you make a plan and it doesn't happen, don't give up on it. Just learn from whatever mistakes may have happened along the lines and go for that plan again.
And that's exactly what it's all about. And I'd like to thank each of you for listening in with us today. I hope we covered something that interested you and helped you in some way. If you haven't subscribed as of yet, please do so. It's absolutely free, and that way you'll never miss an episode. Next week, we'll be having our fourth quarter roundtable with a few executives in our industry and wrap up the year with a few of their thoughts. I'm certainly ready for 2019 myself. Until then, please be safe. It's important to ourselves, our companies, and most importantly to our families.